Have you played Andrew Taylor?
Matt Hall?
Matt Hall.
I don't know where you're going with that one. But today on the show, we're checking out my review of 13. It's the original version, not the 2020 remake. Just in case anyone's unclear about that. Let's check it out.
It's like a caveman thing.
I sort of got that, but...
Trying to boil it down.
Okay, well, it worked.
Game.
I first played 13 when it came out back in 2003. A high school friend of mine lent me a copy on GameCube, and I was really into it, but for whatever reason, I couldn't complete the game before I had to give it back to him. When the 2020 remake came out and was met with very poor reviews, I hopped onto Good Old Games and purchased the original. Apparently I wasn't the only one, because over in the UK, sales of the original game surpassed those of the remake in the first week that it was out. 13 is based on a portion of a Belgian comic called 13. The plot in the game is a sort of reimagining of the Kennedy assassination and some of the conspiracies that surround it. A shadowy group called the 20 essentially devises a plan to take out the president and take over the country. You're experiencing some severe memory loss, but you do find yourself tied to this plot, and you spend the rest of the game recovering your memory and unraveling the mysteries behind the 20 and their plan to take control of America. The game has a very distinct cel-shaded style that still looks great almost 20 years later. The game also has some celebrity voice acting, with appearances by Adam West, Eve, and the player character is voiced by David Duchovny. I know that his character has experienced some severe injuries and memory loss, but Duchovny's performance in this game strikes me as very awkward and extremely bored.
The timer. I can't remember a thing.
I can't tell if he just didn't care, if he was given poor direction, or if that's just how he always acts, but it does definitely stick out. Thankfully, the bulk of the game isn't spent watching cutscenes, but rather it's spent running around and killing people. There are 34 missions in the game, and each one is fairly unique. Sometimes you're forced to take a stealth approach, and other times you get to go in with full force. You'll explore a variety of locations, and each one feels surprisingly real and well developed for a game of this vintage. There are a number of unique boss battles, each one requiring you to learn a bit about the enemy and develop a strategy to defeat them. There's a few points in the game that are frustrating in their difficulty, but overall things feel very balanced and well paced. You have access to a variety of weapons and gadgets, and the loadouts in this game reminded me of GoldenEye, with mission-specific gadgets finding their way into your inventory throughout the game. The missions aren't super long, but they all require something specific from the player, and everything from the weapons, to the gadgets, to the environments and enemies work to make each new area you enter feel distinct from the last. I had to download a patch to get the game up and running properly. I initially had an issue where the sound would drop out during cutscenes. Once that was taken care of, everything ran very smoothly, and I was pleasantly surprised to find that the game felt as good in 2021 as it did back in 2003. If you were unfortunate enough to pick up the remake, I think you owe it to yourself to play the original. And if you've never played 13 at all, I'd say it's worth a shot. It's nowhere near as tactical and demanding as some shooters can be. I'd personally say it's accessible enough for gamers who are new to the genre, but unique and well-crafted enough for veteran FPS fans to enjoy it as well. At the time of making this video, you can find the game on GOG for about $6, but I often see it on sale for less than $2. The campaign takes around 6 to 8 hours, so it's a great game to just spend a weekend with. Check it out! Well. I mean, that's what I thought, but I gotta ask you. And you know the answer. If I were to ask myself this question, the answer is clear.
Okay.
But I'm gonna ask you, have you played 13?
I've never heard of 13. Another title that you're showing me that for the first time. I've never heard of it, I've never seen it. Looks cool.
Wicked.
I'm very interested. I love it when there's good controversy. I love it when there's good controversy. It seems like the remake, as you mentioned, that just came out last year, overwhelmingly negative reviews on Steam.
Yeah, so, I mean, you saw footage of the game. I'm not running any sort of graphics mods or anything. That's the game. It has
clean.
a cell-shaded look that holds up. You know, there's a couple animations are a little blocky. I think it's the only, you know, if you're gonna be a whiny little bitch boy about it, you know, as you often are when you know, no. But I mean, there's very little to criticize in the presentation of the original. Like, the controls hold up, the pacing, like there's a couple areas that I think the stealth mechanics aren't totally clear, and it's frustrating. It's just like there's one or two areas. I mean, like specifically, like there's a corridor where like, oh, you're not quite sure how you're stealthing through here, but it's like the game fucking holds up.
It seemed like it was pretty cool.
So
and, like it could be released by an indie. The game looked like it was pretty cool. It looked like it could be an indie release today.
Yeah, and there was no reason to make a remake, so I believe they kept the original voice actors and everything, but dumbed down the presentation. Like, they changed the graphics, which the game is built around that cell-shaded look to simulate, you know, a comic book. And you saw, like, when I knifed a guy from behind, there'd be the comic book panels that would pop up.
I noticed that a lot. I thought that was really cool.
They took away the comic book panel presentation and took away the very distinct visual style, and it's like, okay, cool. Like, remove those elements if you want to completely reimagine the game, but they stripped a lot of the originality out of it and then just like made it jankier.
Do you think I don't know how much you've looked into it. Did it seem like they had plans to make it really cool and better, but something fell through?
I didn't see anything like that. I almost wonder if they were at risk of losing the license or something and just had to do something to hold on to it. But also, like, they're not raking in much money for that game. You can find it, like I said, for less than $2 on sale sometimes.
It's pretty crazy voice talent, though.
Oh, yeah.
David Duchovny. Who's Eve?
Eve is the first lady of the Rough Riders crew. She's a rapper, an actress. A lot of people, I think, and by a lot of people, I mean a lot of white people, might know her from the song she did with Gwen Stefani, Let Me Blow Your Mind, produced by, I believe, Dr. Dre and Scott Storch.
I might be familiar if I heard it.
No, it was a big hit.
This game kind of looks like, almost like an evolution of 007? Of Goldfinger? Of Goldfinger, yeah. Of GoldenEye.
Well, I think that GoldenEye was the first good console shooter.
Okay.
I mean, it was. I don't even think it was. There was not another good console first-person shooter before that.
Now, did it only come out on the GameCube, or that's just the one that you played?
No, I believe it was simultaneously released on PC and GameCube.
All the platforms, okay. On GameCube, did the C-stick act as you're aiming? Do you remember?
I mean, this was over 20 years ago, wasn't it? No, not quite.
But it plays like a regular shooter, like left stick moves you, and right stick aims?
I don't know. I haven't played the GameCube version since I was in high school.
But is that how it plays? How you played it recently, or did you use mouse?
I use keyboard and mouse.
Oh, okay. Because I remember being surprised at how many games on the GameCube didn't utilize the C-stick as that, right stick.
Yeah, I remember that too. That's why I'm hesitant to say, yes, that's how it worked, because I could see it not being that way, honestly. But I do remember really enjoying it and really thinking it was a really fun game, but just like, I don't know, I had to give it back to my friend or something.
Hit the time limit. It looks cool. I really like that cel-shaded look. I've talked about, I really enjoy it. Like, one of my favorite games ever is Beautiful Joe. And that was the game, as a kid, that introduced me to that cel-shaded look, and I really enjoy it. I think it's really cool. That and Ultimate Spider-Man. You ever play that? Or, I mean, it's a comic as well, but did you ever play the game?
I'm familiar with it.
It's good. It was, I don't know, all the Spider-Man games, all the 3D Spider-Man games.
They're charming.
Pretty okay, yeah.
Surprisingly strong for a licensed series.
Yeah, Spider-Man lucked out. A lot of, like, I don't know, man. The Hulk games are all right.
Hulk Ultimate Destruction, one of the best games. If you like Prototype, it's basically when they lost the Hulk license, I believe they started making the Prototype games.
Yeah, I believe so.
Same creators, same design team.
A little bit of a tonal shift. Sort of. At least
sort of, not really.
A lot more gory. I guess they were able to keep the blood in.
So that's what I played for this review.
It was.
But I want to ask you, what have you been playing lately?
Well, recently, Matt, as followers of our Twitch.tv account, Hidden Machine Gaming, would know, I have been playing the System Shock demo from now, not from the past.
Not the demo of System Shock from like, what, 1992, but
Yeah, the one where
the upcoming game, System Shock.
The remake?
It's a remake.
Remake, that's a fair way. I know a lot of people get a little anal about what you call a reboot, within the specifics of the syntax there.
I think yeah, people just don't. It's literally a remake. They're taking the map, the graphics, everything, giving it a slight reskin and update.
Okay.
Some more modern mechanics, but it's shockingly faithful to the original.
Did that game actually come out in 1992?
I want to say it was 92 or 93.
Wow. Game is probably older than I am. As a PC gamer, it's kind of difficult to not be aware of System Shock, but I never have played it. I've seen gameplay and stuff like that. But after riding the high of Prey, a game that was inspired by games like the original System Shock, it was a cool experience. It felt very similar, but different. It's one of those games that you're like, oh, this isn't like other games. There's a lot of and even though you've mentioned that it's maybe a little bit dumbed down from the original one, there's very small details that you have to pay attention to.
Oh yeah, I mean I even dumbed down is maybe the wrong way to put it. It's more like optimized.
Okay.
Because I think that what the original was trying to accomplish was too complex for where DOS games were at the time.
Almost like a literal simulation of being on this spaceship and trying to complete your mission. It's cool. I'm excited for the full release to come out. I think I do want to check it out. And aside from that, I'd like to ask what you've been playing recently. Well, aside from 13.
Aside from 13, I put a obscene number of hours. I think I played for like 7 or 8 hours straight.
Whoa. With
breaks. But I spent like basically a Sunday playing a game called Wilmot's Warehouse.
I saw that.
Which is a game where you have a large warehouse.
Oh.
I don't think he has a member, to be honest, but you have a large warehouse. It's a rectangular warehouse. There's 4 columns that kind of break things up, like columns that would hold up a building.
Okay.
And then every day, at the front of the building, there's a pickup counter. In the back of the building, there's a loading dock. Items come in from the loading dock. You have a short amount of time to arrange them somewhere in the warehouse.
Facility?
Yeah. And so, well, it's a warehouse.
All right.
It's called Wilmot's Warehouse.
Wilmot's Warehouse.
And everything's a square. You're a square, the items are squares. So it's not really on a grid, but it basically locks to it. It snaps to a grid.
Feels Tetris-y, sort of. Is it a top-down view?
It's top-down view, yep. So you can pick up things. You have different strength capabilities. Like you level up as you go on. You can carry more items. You get like a little dash and stuff. That you get things that allow you to move more efficiently throughout the warehouse. But the idea is you get all these items. You organize them however you want in your warehouse. And then customers come to the front of the pickup window and say, hey, I want X number of this item, and you got to bring it to them within a predetermined amount of time.
Okay.
And there's a new shipment every day. And so items just keep coming in and coming in to
Does
the
that
point
accumulate from previous days? Like leftover stock will still be in there?
Yeah, you're just running a warehouse.
Wow, okay.
And up to the point where there's 200 different items.
Wow, okay.
So every quarter, every day, actually, you get new items.
Do you have to move items out of the way to get to items that might be behind it and stuff like that?
You have to
reorganize?
You have to completely organize it. It's a puzzle game in the sense that you're moving blocks around and trying to match blocks and carry them to a certain place, but also you gotta know, like, where did I leave this thing? Where is it?
Wow.
And also the other part that I think is the key mechanic here is that you have very limited visibility. You have almost like a visibility ring around you.
Okay.
So imagine the warehouse is completely dark, but you have like a little, aura of light around you.
Spotlight on you?
Yeah, so like, as you go closer to items, you can see what they are, and the further you are, they could be completely obscured or semi-obscured.
Wow.
So like you can't just like look at the whole thing.
You gotta remember. That's interesting, like a little logistical simulator.
Yeah, and it was just so simple and pleasant, and the music's great, and I just sat and played it. I played through the whole campaign in one sitting.
Does it have like an endless mode as well?
I
Or you
don't
just,
think
like,
so,
keep
no.
going, or is it just this campaign?
It's, yeah, because once you get all the items, at that point you would just be, clearing out your warehouse.
Master Warehouse.
Yeah,
Man.
But a really good game. Would recommend to anyone who likes games at all. If you just like fun games, it's like shocking how easy it is just to pick up and play and how pleasant it is.
I might check that out. I'm sure it's like a smaller game, right?
It's a smaller game. It's an indie title, and it is available on Game Pass.
Whoa, Game Pass.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that for 4 hours. As a person, I kind of take a little bit of pride. I always know where all my stuff is, for the most part. I mean, like, there's some stuff, like, I don't really lose things very often. I keep pretty dang good track of it, and I think it'd be fun to kind of like exercise that a little bit more.
Well, this game will definitely test your ability to keep that stuff organized.
Like even for this shoot, we were looking for a charger, and I was like, top cubby, back right.
Yes, you were.
I like knowing where my stuff is.
Well, if you like knowing where stuff is, like these videos, I think the easiest way to know is to subscribe and find them there in your subscription feed, because we upload at least once or twice a week. We're on Twitch, we're on Switch every week. We have links down below to our social media, our Instagram, our Twitch. You can just check it all out, subscribe to us, follow us on everything, and then become a Hidden Machine fanatic.
Yeah, but subscribing, it's not always enough, Matt.
No.
Sometimes people don't see their subscription, feeds anymore. So
Oh, it's true.
to increase your chances.
Painful to admit that, but it's true.
That's the way things are now. But if you want a higher chance of actually seeing our stuff, throw us a little comment down in the box of comments down there that we like to keep. Have you played any of these games that we've been talking about? Is there any games you want us to check out? We're always looking for new cool things, hidden gems for Hidden Machine. So do all the things. We appreciate it. And stay tuned for more videos.
Yes, and I would suggest
What would you suggest?
That where you were going with that initially was telling them to put the notification bell on if they want to.
That's a good way to
be
do it.
sure they see. Commenting helps us, but it doesn't help them see the videos more frequently.
If enough of them do it, the algorithm.
Oh, true, but I don't think that's what you were getting at.
I wasn't.
No.
But please,
Dude, come on. And hey,
it's not hard.
if there's a game you'd like to suggest to us, tell us. Come on. I gotta play every good game before I die.
Super Princess Peach.
I played it.
I want to play it soon. I never played it.
Well, it's pretty good. It's very simple. If you like Kirby and simple platformers like that that are fun, it's a fun game.
There's your little bonus video
All right,
for you.
get out of here.
All right. You really played it?
Yeah, but didn't that come out like 20 years ago?